Okay, we'll start off with Abhishek, then Deepak, then Girish, then Nikita, then Maheshwari, then Yash, and Yashika Sari. Okay, we'll just go one by one and know about you. So I just want to know about your name, as you already put up there, and what's the meaning of your name, and about your hobbies, what you do in your meantime, and your ambition. Okay, maybe if you want to say something about your education qualification, yes, you can, but forget about the marks. Okay, don't say something about, I got the 9.5, I 0.7.5 CGPA and all those things. So forget about that. Just go and say something about yourself, something which is interesting about yourself. Okay, the first start is Abhishek. Abhishek says my mic is not working. Okay, fine. Then we'll skip on. We'll move to Deepak.
Hello. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, Deepak, go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm basically so talking about my current status. I'm currently working with Zerodha. I'm working into sales here. It's been 3.5 years since I'm working here. And talking about my educational background, I completed BCom honors from MIT University, Rajasthan in 2017. Prior to that, I have an army background, so I've done my schooling from multiple locations.
Okay, good. Thank you, Deepak. Okay, then moving on to Girish.
Hi, sir. My name is Girish. I'm currently working with Deutsche Bank for past 5 years, more than 5 years. I love watching movies, sports, love playing snooker, football, and my goal is to be a good investment banker in the leading banking organizations.
Okay, fine. What type of movies do you watch? What are your favorite English movies?
Favorite movies: Interstellar, Godfather, and many more. There are many more.
Okay, fine. Good. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, we'll move to Nikita.
Hi, sir. My name is Nikita Mathur, and I have completed my Bachelor's of Commerce, and I have done Bachelor's of Commerce, and I'm currently working with Punch Tech India Private Limited in Jaipur, and I have been working with this company for past 4 years now, and my hobbies are to play guitar, and also I have learned Kathak dance form for 2 years, and that's all about me.
Okay, do you play the acoustic guitar, or do you play the electric guitar or the bass guitar?
No, acoustic guitar. So I have learned guitar before too, but I started again as a hobby in lockdown period.
Okay, which key note doesn't have a flat in a guitar?
Okay, I'm not very good at guitar theory. I just started again.
Okay, fine. See, this is what really happens even inside an interview. Okay, when you say something about the hobbies, usually what people say is, they say something about your hobbies, and they say, I read newspapers, and the next question will be like, okay, can you say who's the president of India?
That's true. I know. So
and they go blank.
It's like I have. Sorry.
Okay, do you know who's the president of India?
Why will you ask that? Yes.
Okay, good. No, because most of the candidates, they say that they are reading books and they are fond of reading newspapers. But the next question, when they shoot out like, who's the president of India? You know what the answer? They say, sir, it's Pratibha Patel, sir, or they say like some other old presidents. Okay. So whatever you say, from that they will ask you some questions. So that's it. That is what I asked you. Okay.
No,
fine,
actually, okay.
Yeah, go ahead. You want to say something? Go ahead.
No. I was just saying that I just started guitar again. It's been like years I have learned guitar. So I've just started again, and it's with chords and everything. So I haven't done theory yet. So I was just saying.
Okay, fine. No issues. Fine. Thank you. Thank you, Nikita. Okay, we'll move to Maheshwari.
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Yes, go ahead.
Sir, my name is Praful Maheshwari, and basically I'm from Jaipur, and I have done my post-graduation MBA, and currently I am fresher right now. And my hobbies are swimming, cricket.
Okay, so you are a fresher.
Yes, sir.
Okay, can you say what is the meaning of your name?
So the meaning of my name is to happiness, and to provide some good good environment in the. So my name meaning is happiness.
Okay. Okay, can you say something about your hobbies? What do you do in your meantime?
So my hobbies are swimming and cricket.
Okay, who's your favorite cricketer?
So MS Dhoni.
Why do you like him the most?
So the attitude and the way of playing game, the aim, what is the main thing is the strategy.
Okay.
How to make a strategy. This is very important in your life and in your professional life and personal life.
Okay. Fine. Okay. Thank you, bro. Thank you. Okay,
Welcome,
then
sir.
we'll move on to Yash.
Hello, sir. My name is Yash. I'm from Jaipur, Rajasthan. I've done my MCom from Jaipur in economics, and I'm currently pursuing my CFA level 1. And my hobbies are watching movies and cricket.
Okay. Your favorite movie?
So, right now, I just watched Promising Young Woman. It's a good movie.
Okay, fine. Good. Thank you, Yash. So we'll move on to Yashika Sari.
Hi, sir. Yashika this side. I have done my graduation in BBA in event management and public relation. And my hobbies are like to play badminton, listening to music and all, cooking some, food. That is right now current hobby of mine. My name basically means success. And besides my graduation, I have done some short courses that are like, abacus and Vedic maths also. And I'm currently seeking to make my career into investment banking.
Okay. You have any experience? Work experience?
I have, I have been working I have experience in BPO of 1 year, and besides that, I have been running my company, event company, from past 3 years.
Okay, fine. Okay, very good. So before starting the session, let me say something about myself. My name is Maninder Melchizedek. I repeat, my name is Maninder Melchizedek. If some of you are wondering, like, what type of a name is this, man? I know, like, Maninder is like, okay, fine. I've heard about this. Okay, are you a Punjabi? Most of them ask me, like, where's your turban when they see my first name? And the second name sounds like, a Russian name, like Arnold Schwarzenegger or something like that. Okay, they usually ask me, but to be frank and honest, I don't know why my mother named this, but the meaning of Maninder means Lord of Minds, and Melchizedek means peace. I repeat, Maninder means Lord of Minds, and Melchizedek means peace. So I did my engineering and in EC department, and I got placed in an IT company called Mindtree, and I was working there for a couple of years as a software engineer. Then I resigned my job. Then I went into Nestle, right? The Nestle where you have these Maggie issues. You have Kit Kat, the Maggie, and when Maggie was facing a lot of issues, I was there. And again, I resigned my job. Then I went into English content writer, resigned my job. Then went into a company called Achi Masala, where they were making a lot of masala products. I was into sales and merchandising, and I was heading the HR and training and development team over there. Then I started my own company called iThinkers, went into schools, colleges, corporates on developing their personality over there. I've also been into a lot of juvenile jails, counseling young people over there, young lads. It's a kind of a different atmosphere that you have, and when you talk to them, they cry. Okay, so it's a lot of counselings and a lot of understanding their personality. So when I'm talking about personality, it's not only about how do you build a resume and how do you talk inside an interview. There is also something called as personnel. The word personality itself is called as personnel. So the human body is divided into three, that is body, soul, and spirit. The body comprises of 5 senses. Okay, so through these 5 senses, you keep on communicating with the external world. But the soul comprises of something called as emotions, or you can call it as the willpower, or you can call it as the mind. There are different components of the soul. And the spirit comprises of consciousness. So when you want to do something wrong, there's an alarm that keeps on, going in your heart, like, and you just don't want to stop that, and you keep on doing certain things which you really don't want to do it. So that comes under spirit. So when I'm talking about personality, the main thing that you will be dealing with is the soul, that is about your emotions. So there are 3 types of personalities called as introvert, extrovert, and ambivert. Okay, so introvert is a personality where you doesn't want to mingle along with everybody. You want to be very, very, lonely. You don't want to get associated with people. But on the other side, you have the extrovert people where they keep on talking with everybody, even inside the corporate. These kinds of people will get a lot of connection, and even they can climb up the ladder very fast. But ambivert is a person where they need to, they'll be like introvert as well as an extrovert. So when it comes to interviews, so I'm not going to talk anything apart from that. So I'm going to, focus my area only on interviews. So when it comes to interviews, so these introvert personalities find it very difficult to pull up their socks and nail interviews. Whereas on the other side, you have the extrovert. People love to talk, the ones who love to talk. They keep on getting their chances very high in succeeding inside an interviews. So when I'm talking about personality, it's not only about your English speaking skills, but it is also about the way you connect with people. Okay, there is a quote which goes like, everybody can come. I repeat, everybody can communicate, but only few can connect. Don't become a communicator, but become a connector. Okay, and everybody can talk. 1, 2, 3, 4. Mere communication inside the at sometimes they don't crack interviews, lack something called as common sense, or they lack something called as sensible answers. That's very important. The language makes sense. Don't look for any other sense. Makes sense. Look for when in terms of interviews, when the HR is asking you something, you have to know what is he looking for. So you always have to throw what fish is looking out for. That is very, very important. Suppose if the requirement is for example, for C, C++, Java, or something like that, and you have extreme knowledge, something which is not related to, or for example, the requirement is for investment banking, and you investment banking, or you don't put some keywords which is not related to investment banking, but you have put your own area of interest. Now, this is where most of them lack, or most of them fail in their interviews, right? You understand what I'm trying to tell you? You have to throw what the fish is looking out for. That is very, very important. Otherwise, it becomes, you just keep on saying what you have, but you're not fulfilling what the requirement is or what the company is needing of, right? So you have to be having this. So throw always what the fish for. Another thing I want to say is, right words at the right time to the right people is called right words to the right people, to the right person, is called as right communication. So it's not only how much you talk, but what are the words, the choice of words that you use, right? That is what matters inside an interview. So as far as now, can you say or elaborate your need, or what do you want irrespective of these interviews and all those things, what is your actual need when it comes to interviews? Or have you attended any soft skill classes before, or what have they taught you? Anything, if you want, you can put it on the chat box. Or if you want to say anything in private also, you can put it on the private chat box also. Because I want to know what is your need.
Money, the need in terms of what? Like what exactly we are looking out of an interview, or how? Like I didn't understand the question here.
The question exactly in terms of interviews, like did they take any other, did you attend any other soft skill sessions? Because this is the first time I'm having a word with you.
Okay, so you mean like what is exactly we are looking out of this session, right?
Yeah, like any classes or any other soft skill sessions that you have attended before?
Okay, no, like as a batch, we haven't attended any such session, and
Okay.
so this is for the first time that's happening. Talking about the need here, right? So it's just like what exactly HR looks for, and how do we get to know like what exactly HR is looking for, and how precisely we can make that presentation. So that's one thing that I personally am looking for.
Okay, fine. So fine, good. So what we'll do now is we will go through the frequently asked questions inside an interview, and what is the expectations of the HR from the IB industry, from the investment banking industry. So that is what we will, walk through in the. So what to say and what is the expectations of the HR. So all this plays a very important role. Okay? So when it comes to interviews, so it's like you can keep on saying whatever you want to say, but fine, they are not really interested in what you're going to say, so it's not going to work out. So we'll just go through some series of questions, what the HR is really expecting, and what are some of the frequently asked questions inside an interview, and how do you answer it, or how do you tackle it? Because there are some freshers out there and there are some experience out there. So you will come to know what you should say inside an interview. Okay, so the first and the foremost thing that what they'll ask you inside an interview is introduce yourself. Okay, introduce yourself. Or they're going to ask you something called as walk me through your resume. Okay, introduce yourself or walk me through your resume. Now, for this, there are multiple answers that you can say, right? There are multiple answers that you can say. And there are some who says like, I've come from this family, my father is doing this, my mother is doing this, my mother's occupation, my father's occupation, I have two brothers and two sisters, and I have one puppy, the puppy name is Kapi. You keep on saying, some, when they start talking, they keep on talking and they exceed more than 2 minutes, and the HR will try to stop them and say like, come on man, okay fine, it's enough of you talking about yourself. Now let me ask you some other questions. So the pendulum is swinging to the other extreme, and there are some who cannot even talk even for 30 seconds or even 45 seconds. They stop abruptly. They just say their name and their education qualification, and they just stop it. So they really don't know what to say in a tell me about yourself. They really don't know what to say about tell me about yourself. Now, before we get into this, actually, we need to know, or you should be aware of, what can we say inside this tell me about yourself, or why are they asking you these kinds of questions? Okay, whether you go for a government job or whether you go for an investment banking job, or whether you go for another private job, whether you go for any other job or any other designation, the first and the foremost thing that they're going to ask you is this: tell me about yourself. the first and the foremost thing is this: tell me about yourself. Okay, so what can we say? Before we know what can we say, we have to know what is running at the back end of the HR when they're asking you this question. Now there's a question like, why are they always asking this question? Whether you go for a technical job or whatever job it is, okay, irrespective of the job, irrespective of the place, they're going to ask you this question: tell me about yourself. Okay, tell me about yourself. Tell me about yourself. Now, why are they asking you this question? First and foremost, they need to know what is most important to you, because you've been living your life for more. I think all of you are 20 plus or 25 plus or even 30 plus. Okay, some of you, right? And you have been living your life for 20 plus years or 25 plus years, and they're asking this question: tell me about yourself. So they want to know what is most important to you. And that more important thing should be aligned with the requirement of the company. For example, you can say like, I like Sachin Tendulkar more than Virat Kohli, or you can say like, I like Pani Puri more than Masal Puri. Whatever, you can keep on saying what are your favorite movies. You can keep on talking, and it can go for ages. Okay, but is that needed, or is that necessary at the point of an interview? So this is what they are looking out for. So in that 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes, right, they are going to see what is most important to you. That is the first point that they're going to look out for. And the second point is, are you fit for the job? Are you fit for the job? That is your qualification. Are you qualified? There's an eligibility criteria check. There are some companies, which need only freshers, and there are some companies which need only experience. So that's an eligibility criteria. There's a check. Okay, there's a check on your qualification. Another important check is your attitude. See, there are some companies which follows a decorum. For example, when I was working in Mindtree, the culture is totally different. The working culture is totally different. Okay, you can go in jeans. You can talk to everybody over there. You can mingle. There'll be always a kind of a josh or a kind of a relaxed attitude working inside that kind of a company, kind of an IT company. But when I was working in Nestle, it was not like that. The environment is totally different. Okay, you cannot walk into the corporate office with any casuals. You have to be, neatly dressed. You have to be in typical formals. You have to clean your shoes, and there'll be a shoe polishing machine. Every time you enter into a Nestle's corporate office, you have to polish your shoes and you have to see your face in it. And then only you need to enter into the corporate office. And you have to be in typical formals. When I say typical formals, it's typical formals. Okay, no check shirts, nothing. And you have to be in clean shape. You have to get into the office, and you can see pin drop silence inside the office. Now, these are two different working culture. Two different working. Something in two fellows, whether this attitude or this candidate's attitude will fit inside my company. Okay, there are some candidates who have lost interviews. There are some candidates who have not been inside the company because of this attitude issue. There is one attitude which the HR doesn't like at all. Can anybody say that? There is one attitude that the HR doesn't like at all.
I think it's rigidity. I mean, any HR want like a rigid guy who want to change as per the needs of the company, as per the culture.
Okay, you're almost close. You're almost close. Okay, I'll give you a task right now. Okay, without Googling, okay, let me be honest. Without Googling, can you put it on the chat box? Now, it's not going to be a very difficult question. The question is, can any of you put the spelling of accommodation on the chat box, or all of you can you put the spelling of accommodation on the chat box without Googling? Whatever comes to your mind. Accommodation. What's the spelling? What's the spelling of pronunciation? Okay, now you can see some variations over there. Some of you have written PRONUN, some of you have written PRONOUN, and some of them have written accommodation as ACCOMO. Some of them have written ACCOMM. Now you can Google and see the answers. See, why did I ask accommodation? Accommodation is the most used word in business communication. Okay, and the spelling is CC and M, and the pronunciation spelling is, you don't have you miss out that, I mean, you don't have O, you miss out that O. It's PRONUN, right? Even though we have come across so far, right, we make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. Okay, the HR doesn't like one attitude called as know-it-all attitude. Know-it-all attitude, right? When you say that you know everything, or you have an attitude, you know, just saying like, I know everything, okay, I'm the boss, I know everything, it means that you know nothing. So the HR doesn't like this attitude called as know-it-all attitude. So when you go inside an HR's cabin or for an interview, right, there is a check for this, okay, and there are many who get rejected because of this know-it-all attitude. Okay, so even though they are very talented, even though they are very good, what does the HR feel is there is something called as work culture fit. Okay, work culture fit. For example, this fellow is like, or this candidate is something, you know, I don't feel like he has the talent, he has everything, but I feel like he's not going to fit inside my working culture. He's going to have a trouble, or he's going to have some problem, you know, fitting inside my working culture. So even if I take that particular candidate, I know for sure that he's not going to stay inside my company for a longer time. So another important factor is called as retention. For an HR, retention is very, very important. It's very, very important. For example, you get into a company, and that is where they will train you for around minimum of 6 months, and in that training period they will pay you, and for that training period they have something called as a training cost. So all that plays a very important role for the HR. Now you go there, you get trained for 6 months, and you work only for 1.5 years, and you come out, then there is no use for the HR, or there is no use for the company, because already they have invested so much on your training, and you're not coming, you're saying you're not going to work there, you're going to put your paper. So the retention is also very important when they select you. So are you fit for the job? So it depends upon your qualification, it depends upon your attitude, it depends upon your work culture fit, it depends upon your retention period. So all this runs in your mind. Have you ever wondered, in some interviews, there are some candidates whom you feel like they are weak, but still they get selected? How is that? Or what is the reason behind it? It's because of this retention. Because they know this candidate will not leave this company because he's going to be the breadwinner of the family, right? So they're going to stay inside this company for a longer time. So they take candidates who can spend minimum of 2 to 3 years inside their company. So that is the question number 2. Are you fit for the job? And the third one is how you are fit for the job. And that is where comes your key skills. That is your communication skills, your interpersonal skills, your negotiation skills, your convincing skills, right? Your leadership skills. So all that comes under picture. So that part, the third part, only talks about your skills. Okay. So when you talk about leadership, let me ask you this question. Leadership is dash. Without this, he cannot become a leader. It's in one word. I'm not talking about the fruits of a tree. There are many fruits of a tree, but there is only one root. Can you guess it? Without this, he cannot become a leader at all. Communication, okay? Leadership is communication. Okay, maybe you could put it on the chat box. Leadership is communication. Any other answers when it comes to leadership? leadership is dash. Without this, he cannot become a leader. Okay, Bharat is saying leadership is the right direction. Girish is saying leadership is success. Okay. Any other ideas? If you give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, I spend 4 hours sharpening my axe. Think before you answer. Think before you answer. There is something called as in how do you check your communication, or how do you check whether you are a great communicator? Usually when you go for IELTS exam or whatever, British Council or whatever English speaking exams, they test you on 4 things. That is LSWR. That is, you call it as listening, okay, speaking, writing, and then reading. Okay, but I don't believe in this, because there is another word, or there is another feature which is missing, and it should come before this LSWR, and it starts with T. Can you guess what's the T? Can you guess what's the T? Not really, but that's a good guess. Timing. Okay. Team player, no. See, L is for listening, S is for speaking, W is for writing, and R is for reading. But before this, there's something called as T. It's very, very important. And right now you're doing it. Nope. Exactly. Thinking, thinker. Okay. Thinking. The one who thinks. Thinking is something very, very important. That is where you have something, or a thought process. How does your thought process work? When somebody's asking you some questions, right? How do you think? Maybe we will discuss about that a little later. Just remind me. I will ask you some sneaky questions, and let's see how your thought process is going to be, right? So how do you think? That is very, very important. So it's not only about listening, speaking, writing, and reading, but it's how well you think, right? That's why there's a lot of quotes about thinking. Clean thinking leads to clean living. So the way you think is only the way you think is nothing but it defines your personality or your character. For example, all your thinking or all your thoughts will lead into actions, right? And all your actions will lead into something called as habits. And all your repeated habits will only form your character. Now you see how important your thoughts are, your thought processes. This is very, very important. Okay, now getting back here, leadership is dash. Some of you said leadership is communication. Some of you said leadership is right direction. Some of you said leadership is success. Okay, apart from that, what is leadership? Without this, he cannot become a leader. Visionary, these are styles of leadership. There is something called as visionary leadership. There is something called as commanding leadership. There is something called as autocratic leadership. Leadership is listening. Okay, I think Deepak is nailing the answer. Very good, Deepak. Leadership is influence. Without making an impact on the other person, without making a greater impact on the other person. For example, when you see a person, you have to have an impact that is like, okay, I will need to talk like him, I need to at least dress like him, I need to be like him. That kind of an influence that you make it's that which makes you a leader. Okay, so leadership is influence. I will tell you about, if time permits, I will tell you about the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership written by John C. Maxwell. Okay, there is a book called 21 irrefutable laws of leadership, and it is written by John C. Maxwell. And it says, the book says, if you follow these 21 laws, you will become an effective leadership. Okay, it becomes an effective leadership. Maybe I will just explain 2 laws over here, and then maybe I will just continue the session. Okay, the first law is called as the law of the big mo, or the law of momentum. What do you mean by momentum? What do you mean by momentum? You would have heard it. Most of you said, you know, what is your hobbies? Cricket. Momentum plays a very important role in cricket. Have you heard Sachin saying this sentence? When the reporter, or when somebody asks him, like, how did you hit a century? How did you score such a great score? And he says, like, when the ball was coming onto the bat, there was great momentum. Have you heard Sachin saying this? Usually in most of the man of the match series, he says this: the ball was coming onto the bat and I had great momentum. What does it mean? It means, like, he doesn't need to do something extra. There was, he just keeps that stroke, he just keeps the cover drive, and the ball just keeps on going. So he felt very easy to bat. That's called momentum. Another example is, if a train is traveling around 10 kilometers per hour and you have 100 feet concrete wall before the train, now what happens? The train cannot pass through, right? Because the train is traveling only around 10 kilometers per hour. But imagine if the train is traveling around 1,000 kilometers per hour. What happens? It dashes, it breaks, or it thrashes that 100 feet concrete wall and it passes through the other side. That's called momentum. So in an interview, you should have to have some kind of a charisma, or you have to have some kind of an energy, or you call it as a momentum. And momentum is leader's best friend. Okay, they call momentum as leader's best friend. If you're a basketball player, you will know it. When the other team is gaining a lot of momentum, the opposite team, what they say is they give it for a timeout, because they want to break the momentum. They don't want to, the other team to have or succeed in their momentum. Even if somebody, hits a 6, the first ball goes for the 6, the second ball goes for the 6, or the third ball goes for the 6, and the fourth ball, what he'll do is he'll try as if he's going to bowl the ball, but he'll stop. He'll not bowl it. Usually, there's a West Indian who does that, because he keeps on doing it to break the momentum. He doesn't want the other person or the batsman to gain momentum, because once he gains momentum, you cannot stop him. So that's called momentum. So leadership. So that plays a very, very important role. So law of the big mo says that leader's best friend is momentum. Even when you enter into an interview, when you talk to people, when you talk to the HR, there is a charisma, or there is a dynamic that should come out of you. You cannot be like a simple person talking only mere terms, but the energy plays a very important role. So how you are fit for the job plays a very important role. Now you understand what is running at the back end of the HRs. At the back end, there are 3 questions which runs when they ask this question: tell me about yourself, or walk me through this issue. That is, what is most important to you, how you are fit for the job, and how you are fit for the job, right? So these are the 3 things that runs inside the HR's mind. Okay, now we'll go one by one. Now, can you see the screen now? How many of you say this is a better starter? When they ask you, tell me about yourself, they say these 3 sentences, or similar to these kinds of 3 sentences, and they start, they tell me about yourself. How many of you say this is the right way to start?
I think it is the second one. It is my pleasure to introduce myself.
Okay. How if we say these three sentences is not needed? Or any other thoughts that you have about this? Okay, Girish says not much needed, all three. Deepak also says absolutely it's not needed. It's not needed. Even Yash says the same. It's not needed. Okay. Any other difference of opinion? Okay. Now tell me the reason why it is not needed. The ones who said like no, it's not needed. Now tell me a reason why it's not needed. Any specific reasons for this? Why do you say it's not needed? You can put it on the chat box. It looks like the person who's being interviewed is more talkative. Okay. Okay, you don't want people inside your company who can talk good. Okay, it sounds awkward. Some of you saying it sounds awkward.
I think, sir, it's because it might give an impression that the person is not that much confident, that he is even so generous for just getting the opportunity to present himself. I think these things will make sense. Saying this thing will make sense at the end of the interview. Like once you have the entire conversation, then you can say like it's really a great pleasure having this conversation. But starting the terms or thanking somebody is, I don't think so, is a really way to move forward with the conversation.
Okay, good. Almost you're near. Very good. See, when somebody says or when see, there are different types of HRs. Okay, let me say that first. There are different types of HRs. There are some HRs who really like when you say thank you and sorry, or people usually like when you say thank you and sorry. But there are some HRs, especially the HRs from the investment banking, they really don't like when you say thank you very much, sir, for giving me this opportunity to introduce myself. It's my pleasure to introduce myself. Thank you very much, sir, for shortlisting me for the personal interview. You got the voice tone, right? Obviously, my voice looks very awkward right now, right? So when you use a kind of that tone and when you start to tell me about yourself, it really means that it is a weak start. That is, you are very desperate for jobs and you are not believing in yourself, or you're not confident enough. So please don't start your tell me about yourself by this. It's my pleasure is okay, but even though, right, let's not start off with this thank you very much, sir, thank you very much, madam. Let's not keep that tone. So let's directly jump away and start off or tell me about yourself. Now, what should we say in the tell me about yourself, or what can we add in this tell me about yourself? Now, this is what it is. Now you can say something on your, you can start off with your name. If they know your name, for example, they know your name is Girish, okay, and they say like, Girish, can you say something about yourself? And again, you start off by saying, my name is Girish. Please don't do that. You can say like, as you know, my name is Girish. You can start off with that kind of a sentence. Okay, I don't know how many of you watched this video, a short film on this interview. It's an old video. There'll be some interviewer where he'll tell the candidate to take the marker and write something on the board. How many of you watched that video? Do you remember that? How many of you watched that video?
No, sir, we haven't watched. Like, I haven't watched it personally.
Okay, there are two of them. Only two of them have watched this video. Oh, okay, fine. Then wait. 1 second. Just hold on. Okay, can you hear the audio of it?
So audio is not audible of the video.
Okay. I'll put your link over here. It's just a 5 minutes video. Just watch this. Okay, use the link and watch it. And I'll also play it here. Let me know once you're done with the video, once you finished watching the video.
Yeah, so it's done, like watched it, sir.
Okay. How many of you believe attitude is everything? How many of you say attitude is everything?
Sir, I don't believe attitude is everything, but it's a major projection of your personality.
Okay. What about others? What about Girish? What about Bharat? What about Nikita? What about Rahul? What about Yashika? Not every time, okay. See, attitude is not everything, but it is the main thing, right? Attitude is not everything, but it is the main thing. What do you mean by attitude? The way you carry yourself, the way you negotiate, the way you talk, the way you carry yourself. So that is the main thing, right? So attitude is not everything, but it is the main thing. Okay. So this video, there are some times it has been exaggerated. They say, like I say, pani puri more than masala puri and all. There are some exaggerations there seen inside this video, but the take of this video is the way you carry yourself, right? The way you carry yourself. That is very, very important. So you can start your tell me about yourself with your name, with your place, okay, and your education qualification. And here in the education qualification, you have to mention what was the learning curve that you have in Ematicus. That is very, very, very important, right? Some of you miss out this, and this is where you can fetch a job. So please do mention what was the learning curve that you had in Ematicus learning this investment banking course, and out of which say what are the new concepts that you learned in investment banking, right? For example, you would have learned a lot. You would have learned what do you mean by shares, equities, derivatives, bonds, trade life cycle, anti-money laundering, KYC. There are so much of concepts that you learn in this investment banking. Okay, and you also have to mention what was your favorite topic. What was your favorite topic? For example, you said, like, I know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, out of which the fifth one is my favorite. Now, what are you trying to do is you are trying, or you are making the HR to ask something where you are strong at. When you say something, my favorite topic is, for example, my favorite topic is trade life cycle. Okay. Now, what are you making the HR? You are making the HR, or you are probing the HR to ask some questions from this trade life cycle, so that he wants you to check how strong you are in this trade life cycle. And when you say your favorite topic is trade life cycle, you have to know the nook and corner of it. That is point number one. Point number two is, suppose there will be a specific designation. For example, there's a vacancy for anti-money laundering. Okay, there's a vacancy for anti-money laundering, and you say something, your favorite subject or your favorite topic, which is not related to anti-money laundering. Now you expect the HR to ask you some questions on your favorite topic? No, because the current vacancy is on anti-money laundering. He or she is going to ask you definitely only on anti-money laundering. So understand this. So when you say about your education qualification, make sure that you add this learning curve in Ematicus. That is very, very important. And I will tell you what to say, what not to say in this. Okay. So everybody will have a name, everybody will have a place, everybody will have their educational qualification. But what makes them different is their achievements. Now look back and see, what have you achieved so far in your lives? What have you achieved so far in your life? Okay, I will talk to you about this in detail as we go to the next slide. And then if you have work experience, talk about your work experience, talk about your designation, the name of the company, your designation, the time period that you have worked, and your roles and responsibilities. If you say I'm a fresher, I don't have any experience, talk about your project works or talk about your internships. That is very, very important. Okay, now strength, maybe it's not that much needed, and even your ambition, it's not that much needed. So if they ask you about your strengths and weakness, you can say about your strength and weakness. I will come to this. I have to explain this in detail, so I will come to this. And even your ambition, I will come to this a little later on this. So you can finish off with your hobbies. Okay, you can finish it off with your hobbies. So you can start off with your name, maybe your place, your educational qualification, and in your educational qualification, how you have to start. If you have done your UG and your PG, start with your PG. Okay, start with your PG and then go with your UG. Say that I have done my MBA from Bangalore University, and prior to that, I have done my BCom or BBM or whatever it is from XYZ college, right? So start off with your PG and then come to UG. Don't start off with your UG and go to PG, right? So start off with your PG and then come to your UG. So, and then add your learning curve in Pneumaticus. You say like you're pursuing investment banking courses, investment banking course in Pneumaticus, wherein I learned a lot of new concepts in investment banking. I have learned 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, out of which fourth one is my favorite. And also say, why do you like it? And also say, why do you like it? Okay, that is very, very important. So if you have work experience, say something about your work experience. If you don't have work experience, share something about your project works or about your internships. Then say about your hobbies. End with your hobbies. Okay, now we'll get into the next slide with all details. Okay, first one, name. And some of them start by saying their name like this is. They say this is. They say this is Girish. No, this is Nikita. This is Deepak. Usually, this and that applies for an object. See, this is pen. This is pencil. This is fan. This is a cup. This is a laptop. This is mobile phone. This is bottle. This is keychain. This is watch. This is Manandra. So some don't accept it when you say this is. And another one is, please do not start your tell me about yourself with this myself. Usually those who have 8+ or 12+ years of experience, they start with this myself. And especially in investment banking, the HRs don't like when you start your tell me about yourself with myself. Okay, so please do not start your tell me about yourself with myself. And some of them say, when you say I am, it is grammatically wrong. So the best way to start your tell me about yourself is, do you remember in our childhood, they used to teach us, my name is, right? So start your tell me about yourself with this, my name is. Please do not start your tell me about yourself with myself or this is or I am, but start off with my name is. Now, how can you say? You can say like, hi, sir or madam, good morning or good afternoon. My name is Nikita. My name is Girish. Right? You can start off like this. Do not start with myself. Again, I'm saying do not start with myself. Do not say thank you for giving me this opportunity. Please start off, like hi, sir or madam, good afternoon or good morning. My name is whatever your name is, right? So you can put like that, okay? And then comes to the place. Some of them add adjectives to their place, okay? They say like, I belong to New Delhi, okay? And some of them say, I belong to the capital of India, New Delhi. What they do is they add a little bit of information over here. Some of them say, I come from Hyderabad. Some of them say, I come from the Pearl City, Hyderabad. Okay, they use some adjectives or they use some powerful words which can make or which can steal the attention from the HR for maybe for a fraction of a second. Because as an HR, you have to understand the HR's mindset. That is, Candidate number 1 comes in, candidate number 2 comes in, candidate number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, they're almost exhausted asking this question. Tell me about yourself. Tell me about yourself. Tell me about yourself. So the candidate 1 comes in and says like, my name is this, my name is that, I have done this, I have done this, blah, 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 blah. So usually what happens after 10 or 15 candidates, they get used to it, right? And you go there as a 16th candidate, you say like, hi sir, good afternoon, good morning, my name is Girish, right? I belong to the capital of India, New Delhi. So you're putting something, or you're making, or you're stealing the HR's attention, or you are making the HR like, come on, I'm not the usual one, or I'm not the same, I'm not the one among the 10, I'm something different. So that is one way of saying that you are different from others. So they use some adjectives, or they use some powerful words to describe their place. Okay, that comes under place. Next is your educational qualification. As I already told you, start off with your highest qualification. Okay, if you have done any crash courses, mention it. If you are a diploma student, mention it, or any other certification that is worth it saying, you can say it during your educational qualification. Don't miss it out, because your tell me about yourself will be the first question, and the first impression that you're going to make is your tell me about yourself. So make sure you prepare well and give what the fish is looking out for. Right? If you have done any additional courses, any other additional courses related to investment banking, well and good, you can say it out. Okay. For example, there are some who have finished some courses related to mutual funds and all those things. So please mention it here. It will be an added advantage for you. Okay, that comes under your educational qualification. The next comes the important thing is your achievements. There are two types of achievements. One is professional achievements and one is personal achievements. In your professional achievements, there is something related to your career or your academic point of view. Suppose if you have won any awards in your college, suppose you're a fresher, if you have won any awards in your college, think about it. Okay, suppose if you have presented any papers in national level, symposium level, any paper presentations that you have done, if you are an IEEE member, if you have done engineering, you know about IEEE. If not, leave that. Okay, or any appreciations or milestones which happened in your college life, right? Any recognitions, if you are a topper, if you have scored distinction from the academic point of view, so you can say that. Okay, if you say like, I'm an experienced graduate, okay, I'm experienced, I have around 3+ years of experience. Now think about the awards and accolades that you have received in your company. Any awards that you have received, any special mentions, any recognitions inside your company, right? Anything related to your attendance. There are some companies which give which recognize them for attendance, regular attendance, or any award. Okay, Blessed Employer of the Year award, something related to that. Okay, anything that you feel it is worthwhile mentioning it. Okay, for example, if you are handling a team, if you have more than 3+, 4+ years of experience already, you will become a team player or you will become a team leader. So if there are any competitions that have been conducted, when it comes to sales, there will be a lot of competitions. So when your team has bagged the first place and you've been heading the team, they would have given best captaincy award or best leadership award, something like that. Anything that you can associate with, because see, I have never walked your path of life and it is you who have walked it. So you have to recollect, as I'm saying, any award, anything which is worthwhile, you can mention in your achievements. Okay, you can mention in your achievements. Suppose if you say like, I don't have anything related to academics, so think something which is related to your co-curricular activities. That is, you can involve sports, you can involve arts and science. If you are a candidate who's very much interested in sports, who have represented your college or you have represented your company and you have played matches and you have won cash prizes, because there are some events where they will give you cash prize awards, because even there are some dance events which can win you like 1.5 lakhs. You know, there are some cash awards. So if you are one among them, something related to your extracurricular activities, something which you have gained. For example, there was one who said something on music, right? If you have participated in concerts, if you are, won prizes, participation is not always winning. Please don't say I have participated in this, participated in that. Okay, fine. But have you won anything when it comes to music? When it comes to martial arts, yoga, music, dance, meditation, karate, all this is something extracurricular activities. And if you feel like I have proven something worthwhile in mentioning, yes, well and good, you can mention that. Okay, because see, all this reflects your personality. That is, even if you say like I have hosted a show, I have compiled a show, right? I have compiled an event. So that these are all personalities which will talk on behalf of you. All this shows that you are a good natural presenter. Okay, not everybody can become an MC, not everybody can become a compile. Okay, so it's like when you are doing the show, you are hosting the show, there is some good talent in you, so the personality will speak for itself. When you get onto the stage, right, it shows that you don't have any stage fear, you don't have any anything which is associated with fear when it comes to public speaking. So you are a very good or a bold candidate where they can believe like, okay, fine, this fella has done a lot of presentations, this fella has done a lot of stage shows, so he's very bold enough in presenting, so let me give him a chance so that he can go and talk to our clients. Let me see whether he's having good convincing skills. So there are other ways doors can open up for you, right? So anything which is related to achievements, that is your personal achievements, that is your co-curricular activities, think about it. Think whether it is worthwhile. Don't say something in my school days when I was studying my 5th standard, when I was studying my 2nd standard, when I was studying my 1st standard, right? It is not worthwhile. Anything which is worthwhile, anything which has been rewarded, or which has been rewarded the most in times of college, or even after your college, even in your workspace, something like that which is worthwhile, you can say it in your achievement. Some of you say, sir, I don't have any achievements, I don't have any professional as well as personal achievements. There are people who say like, what is your achievements? And immediately they say, I'm an active blood donor. Okay, they relate themselves something to these kinds of NGO, or they relate it to something called as CSR activities. What do you mean by CSR? What do you mean by CSR?
Corporate social responsibility, sir.
Exactly, corporate social responsibility, right? So they related to this corporate social responsibility. Now, each and every company that you enter in, they have a department, or they have something called as corporate social responsibility. You enter into their site, okay, just have a look at their corporate social responsibilities. They would have conducted a lot of blood camps, or they would have conducted a lot of medical camps, or they would have conducted a lot of clean environmental camps, right? Usually, when I was working Mindtree, we did this. Okay, early morning we went to the beach. They will give us some, t-shirt, a cap, and a jean, and all those things. They'll give us some clothes, and you need to go there and pick up all the garbages, and you need to collect them. So that's the job that we do. Early morning, 4 o'clock, we have to do, and it is very mandatory. All this comes under this corporate social responsibilities, right? So if you say like, I don't have any other achievements, professional or personal, at least related to your CSR activities, relate something to your CSR activities. There was one girl which I interviewed. I asked her, what did you achieve so far in your life? She was thinking, and she came out with this answer. She said like, sir, as far as achievements, I don't have much, but I have one achievement which I'm very proud of. I scored the gold medal in my college for a particular subject, and since I scored a gold medal in that particular subject, the college became very proud of me, and they gave me scholarship in which the college took the whole 3 years fees. That is the first year, second year, the third year. The college took the whole 3 years fees and paid it on behalf of that girl. And I felt that it was one of my greatest achievements in my life. Something, right? So for freshers who have come out of college, they can use this also. So anything which you think it is worthwhile, again I'm saying anything which you think that is worthwhile. Okay, so there comes your achievements. Okay, so because this is one thing where it makes you different from others. Otherwise, everybody will be having their name, everybody will be having their educational qualification, but what have you achieved? That makes a big difference. Okay, and then comes your experience or your project work. When I talk about experience, make sure that you say what was the name of the company, okay, how long you have been inside the company, what was the designation, and your roles and responsibilities. Suppose if you have shifted or you have frequent shifts in your job, for example, you work for 1 year in a company, another 1 year, 1 year, 1 year, they're going to ask you this question: why frequent shifts? Okay, why did you keep on shifting your company from one company to another? Usually when you do frequent shifts, what happens is they come to a conclusion like you don't retain for a longer period. Okay, you don't retain for a longer period. And when you have these work experience, they're going to ask you this question: why did you leave this job? Why did you quit this job? So be prepared to answer those. When you say like, I don't have any work experience, now what can I say in my, tell me about yourself. Now you can say something where you have worked on your projects in your college, right? If you have projects, if you have mini project, if you have major project, maybe you can explain that. Okay, when you say like, I don't have any projects which is related to this investment banking, now what can you do? Maybe you can say about it. Okay, maybe you can say about it, but don't exaggerate. Just say that or express that you have knowledge about that. That's it. Don't exaggerate. Don't keep on talking for hours about that project, right? Just say that you have done it on your own, right? And say that you have knowledge about that project and express it. Okay. Now, you don't have any other project work, then say about your internship. How many of you have internships? How many of you have internships? You have interned in a company. Anybody is having any internships? Especially freshers. Okay. Okay, very good. One has. Okay, fine. Very good. You can say about that. Right? You can say about your internship. Explain, but don't exaggerate. Okay, explain, but don't exaggerate. Okay, that is one thing. So you can say about your internships as well. Okay. Coming to strength and weakness, I will share it with you what you have to say about your strengths and what you should never say as your weakness. Okay, because during the Corona time, I've heard like there was one student which she told like what was your weakness? The question was asked like, what was your weakness? And she told, my weakness, I feel very depressed. I feel very depressed, and I get a lot of suicidal thoughts. That is my weakness. See, in an interview, you cannot be too open. You cannot pour out your thoughts. Always have this in your mind. There are some things you need to hold on, and you should not say it out in an interview. You can be honest, but you cannot be too honest. There was one fellow who said the favorite movie was Interstellar. right? In Interstellar, there is a robot called TARS. I don't know how many of you watched this movie. Can you relate it? The one who watched?
Yes, sir.
Okay, there's a robot called TARS, and what they do is when during the first visit, the honesty setting will be too high. So when Matthew McConaughey asks any question to the robot will be on, straightforward on his face. But later he realized like being too honest doesn't help. While he's making the next visit, he will reduce the honesty setting, right? Don't be too honest. I want to become a civil servant. I want to crack my civil service exams. I want to become an IAS. I want to become an IPS. Come on, man. You are sitting inside an investment banking interview, and somebody is asking you, what is your ambition? Come on, say something which is sensible. Don't say you want to become an entrepreneur. See, now I'll give you an example. There was a candidate. Okay, he's an only son, and his father is doing some business. Okay, he's doing some business. So the HR asked, like, what do you want to become? He said, I want to become an entrepreneur. Immediately asked, what is your father? He said, my father is a businessman. And immediately next question was like, do you have any siblings? No, I'm the only son. Now, what is the picture that you're giving them? What is the picture that you're throwing, or what is the picture that you're giving them? The picture that you're giving them is you will not retain in the company for a longer time. Why? Because you're the only son. You have to take up that business, and you are also really interested in becoming an entrepreneur. Understand? You get the point what I'm trying to say. So make sure that you say something which is very sensible. That is where sensible answers are much required inside an interview. Okay, so don't say I want to become an entrepreneur, I want to become an IAS and IPS. Okay, some of them have this habit of my long-term goal is, my short-term goal is, they mug up all these things during their college days and they keep on saying it. So please don't say that also. Another tips that I'm going to give it to you. Okay, first one, don't memorize. Please, I'm telling you, don't memorize, but prepare. Use good words, good choice of words. Okay, if you are a fresher, practice before the mirror or record it in your mobile phones and listen to your own voice. Okay, listen to your own voice. And it's not only a content, but your body speaks volumes and volumes of you. You have to be very careful when it comes to your body language. For example, when your eyeball goes towards your left, it means you are remembering something. When your eyeball goes towards your right, it means you are visually constructing something. For example, questions like, where do you see yourself after 5 years from now? Immediately their eyeball will go towards your right. That is, you visually construct something. Okay. When they ask you something about remembering, for example, what did you eat last night? Your eyeball will go towards your left. There are some sneaky HRs who can find out from your body language whether you are faking or whether you are saying the truth. Right? So make sure that you have a proper eye contact, right? That is very, very important. Look at their eyes and then talk, and have a gentle smile on your face. Especially interviews, when you go for interviews, most of them don't have a gentle smile on their face. Have a gentle smile, be very calm, serene, composed, right? That is very, very important. Vocabulary and grammar, I don't think most of you will be having trouble in that. And I'll go through your resume. Again, I'm saying there are some, what they do is they just cut, copy, paste their career objective or executive summary. Okay. And the first question will be like, can you say something about your career objective? And they go blank. Just they would have given the resume to the HR, and the HR would have received the resume, and they say like, can you say what is written there in the career objective or in the executive summary? They say something else. So the HR will ask like, it is Control C, is it Control C and Control V? Cut, copy, paste. So go through your resume. You have to know what are the things that you put inside your resume. Last but not the least, don't be a mere connector. Don't be a mere communicator, but be a very good connector. Don't be a mere communicator, but be a connector. That is very, very important. Okay, that is very, very important. Now, I will summarize this. I will summarize this and I'll put it in the Word format. Now I'll summarize this and I'll put it in the Word format. Okay. So first and foremost, introduce yourself. Please do not, right? Do not say myself. Okay, do not start your tell me about yourself with myself. So you can start out by saying, "Hi sir, good morning," or "good afternoon," or whatever. Right? Start off by saying, "My name is." Okay, and also please do not say thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Please do not say. Okay, so for a fresher, we'll have a freshers format. For a fresher, you can say your name. Okay, say your name. Say your education qualification. And what you do in this education qualification. Start with your highest. Okay, suppose if you have done your MBA, start with your highest, and then your UG degree. Okay, maybe BCom or BBA, whatever it is. Okay, how can you say it? You can say like, I have done my MBA. I've done my MBA from XYZ college, and prior to that, I have done EBM from Bangalore University. Okay. Now, another important thing is your learning curve in Ematicus. Okay. What are the new concepts that you learned? Concepts that you learned here in CIBOP, out of which, what is your favorite concept or a favorite topic, out of which Why do you like it? Reasons for your favorite. Right? Then comes your internship or your projects. Then comes your internships and your projects. Then your achievements. And then finish it off with your interest and hobbies. So almost it will come around 45 seconds to 2 minutes. Okay, almost 1 to 2 minutes. Right? So let it not go. See, when they ask you this, tell me about yourself, don't save just for 10 seconds and stop it. Okay, let it have some content, and at the same time let your pendulum not swing to the other extreme. Okay, let it not swing to the other extreme. So have it within 45 seconds to 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes. That is more than enough. Okay. Okay, now for experienced. If you have experience, if you have work experience. Okay, same. Start off with your name. The next, what should come for experience? Any idea? Any idea what should come the next?
So the organization we are working for, the current designations, the responsibility that it involves.
Exactly. Your current work experience, right? So in your current work experience, add about your designation, but before that, you have to add your name of the company, right? Designation, time period, and any 5 roles and responsibilities. Okay, then comes your previous work experience, and the same thing. Usually people, what they do is they miss out any one of these. They miss out their designation or they miss out their time period, and the HR will ask them again, like, what was your designation? How long have you been working? So let's not make the HR to ask that again and again. When you're saying it crisp and neat to the point. Okay. Then comes your previous work experience. Okay, same thing. And there are some who don't even put their educational qualification in their resume. There are some who have 15+ years of experience. They don't even put their education qualification because their work experience is more than enough to talk for them. Okay. Then comes your education qualification, right? Now see what happens is if you have work experience, your education qualification comes down, and your work experience plays a very important role, right? So the same thing applies for education qualification, what I mentioned above. Now, coming to internships and projects, should we say internships and projects? Suppose internships and projects. Internships. Now, suppose if you have less than 2 years of experience, okay, fine, then you can talk about it. Okay, if you have less than 2 years of experience, you can talk about it. Now, if you say like I have more than 2 years of experience, if you have more than 2 years of experience, better don't talk about your internships, right? You can mention, but don't talk or elaborate more on that, right? Don't talk about, no need to talk about your internships. Okay, then finish it off with your interest and hobbies, right? So this is what they expect from the IB industry. The HRs, what they expect is, these are the expectations for a fresher as well as the work experience. So don't beat around the bush. Just give what the fish is looking over. Okay. Now you got a grip or the whole subject about the first question. Tell me about yourself. Now, if you have any doubts in this, you can ask.
Sir, in this session where we talk about where we talk about ourselves, right? The question, tell me something about yourself. So we can add some, the kind of background that we have, because that eventually leads up to the kind of personality we are having. For example, let's say I have a very strong army background. My dad and my granddad, they both served into the army, and due to which, there's something that is like in my DNA, you can say. It's the punctuality and the because they, like, it's a completely strict environment, right? So discipline is something a very vital part of army. So I can, like, I shouldn't be saying I'm a highly disciplined guy, but I can say that I have a very disciplined background, something like that.
Okay. See, for example, it makes me to remind of something which I have done in my earlier days when I went for interviews. Usually, I don't put my father's or my mother's occupation or what they are up to unless and until they ask me. See, there was one time where I don't put it even in my resumes and all those things. My father is a banker. Actually, he was working in Indian Bank as a manager, and my mother is a doctor, and I have a brother, and even he's a doctor, and even my sister-in-law, even she's a doctor. She's a pediatrician. And I don't mention all these things inside my resume, because what I feel is the resume should talk about me and about my potential. So I usually don't say it unless and until they ask. So I don't say it, and then sometimes where so there are some HRs, they say like, why you never put this on your resume? You have to put it on your resume, right? So that we can know what is your background, your economical conditions, and all those things. And when such question was asked, I just tell them like the resume should talk about me and my potentials and my caliber, and I've mentioned all those things. So right, so it's up to you. It's a choice for you whether to choose it or not. If you want to say it on a positive note, well and good, you can say it. But if you feel like, okay, fine, let it talk about myself and only about myself, then it's up to you.
Got it, sir.
Got it? Okay, what can we answer if the interviewer asks why such long tenure in one company? Usually, when you stay in a company for a very long time, there are two type of employees. One is they make frequent shifts, okay, especially for salary case. They get better paid, okay, they leave this company and get into another company, okay, they keep on moving from company to company. This is one type of an employee. Another type of an employee is they stay there in the company for a very long period and they gain a lot of respect. That is even maybe 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, 10 years. They stay in the same company for a longer time and they gain a lot of respect. Okay, these are two types of employees out there. Now, with the HR asking, why do you stay in one company for a longer time, is maybe you can say you are not tied to that company, but you are tied to your working culture as well as your job. That is what you're liking to, right? So there is, or there might be, you are staying there for a longer time because there's so much of learning curve and there's so much of learning exposure that the company is providing you, so that you keep on learning new things and other things. You don't want to leave that company, so you stay there in the company for a longer time. So that is one thing that you can say. So unless and until you don't do the repeated work again and again without any learning something new, then the work becomes very monotonous. That's why IB is a field where you have different departments. You can also use this as a reason. IB is one firm where you have different departments and there will be a lot to learn inside the life. That is what you can say. Go ahead, Girish. Okay. If opportunity is not there for new things to learn, then what can we answer in the same company? But you've been staying there doing the same work again and again. Is it what you're trying to say? Okay, but please don't mention this to your HR, which you're facing there. Okay, there are some times where they ask these questions like, for example, change of domain. Okay, they ask you for change of domain, or if there are any gaps. For example, if you have worked as an HR for 2 years, then you change into IB industries. Usually what they say is, due to some personal reasons, I stayed there in this company. And usually when you say personal reasons, the HR doesn't probe you in. 90% of them, they don't ask you why, what is your personal reasons. But there are some 10% of the HRs, they will ask you what is those personal reasons. And when you say something, due to some financial crisis, I was about to stay in the company for a longer period, and right now we are financially stable, and I'm just looking out for a better opportunity where I can upgrade my skills. And that's the reason why I wanted to upgrade my skills and joined Imaticus in investment banking. So I learned a lot of new topics here, new concepts here in investment banking, and that's the reason why I'm sitting right before you, sir. Got it? Perfect. Any other questions? Maybe I will deal with these questions also. Okay. Any other questions which is related to this? Tell me about yourself.
Hi, sir. My name is Bharat, And previously, as you explained that you must have to mention your achievement. So I just want to know that we must have any kind of documents relevant to achievement. So that is this possible? We must have a particular document relevant to achievement to showcase that.
Okay. See, usually they don't ask. For example, if you say like, I've participated in a lot of events like Jam, Just a Minute, and I won a lot of prizes. And for example, shipwrecks, jams, and other competitions, inter-school or inter-college competitions, and all. Usually, they give you some certificates. Okay, but when it comes to achievements, it's not needed because in company they're not going to ask you all those things, right? So there's if it is there, well and good, but it is not a hard and fast rule that you need to have some documents about that. It's just to show your personality.
Oh, okay, sir. Got it. Got it. Thank you, sir.
Got it? Okay. Okay, sir, I have one question. I am a CA interqualified, and most of the companies do not hire CA intern because they think candidate will appear for CA final and will take leaves. Obviously, it's like, okay, I will tell it to you. So what should I do about it? And is it possible that I don't tell them about the CA course of mine and tell only that I'm a BCom graduate? See, when you say that you are a CA intern qualified or you are appearing for CA final, obviously it comes under overqualified. Okay, and there are many reasons for the HR to think, okay, this fellow is good, he has a CA interqualified, and obviously this fellow will try for CA final exams, and he's going to maybe take a lot of leaves for it. And for example, if that position requires extra times, requires working on weekends or night shifts, and when you say you are a CA final, then think about it. There was a similar candidate. She was just married. Okay, and she was rejected. She was, she kept on giving interviews, and there's a lot of rejections. Okay, and the case came to me, and I was asked her what happened inside the interview, and she said like, in each and every interview, I said I was recently married. I said like, in the next interview, please don't say that, because once you get recently married and there are maternity leaves and all that comes under picture, and no company wants to hire a person or a candidate who wants to get into maternity leave immediately when they join the company, right? 6 months or 7 months of they don't work, but the company needs to pay for them. No company likes that, right? So instead of taking a newly married girl, why don't I give this job to a breadwinner? So that's the picture that most of them have as an HR. So there are times where you can be very silent instead of saying it. That's why they say like, speech is silver, but silence is golden. So there are times where you can avoid saying it. So you can apply it like you are a BCom graduate, and don't say something about your CA unless and until you finish it, and then okay, fine, you can fetch your own jobs. So don't say it. It's good not to say it. Okay, any other questions?
I think that this particular domain is clear. We can move further.
Okay, fine. So what we'll do now is we will take a 10 to 15 minutes break, and then we will join the next session. Is that okay with you?
Yes, sure, definitely, sir.
Definitely. Okay,
Yes,
fine.
sir.
Thank you. Okay, all of you are back. Shall we start? Hope all of you are here. Can I have some responses on the chat box? Okay, perfect. Okay, fine. So we'll continue with some frequently asked questions. Okay. Now there's always this question that they're going to ask you. Okay, coming about strengths and weakness. Okay, coming to strengths and weakness. Usually they ask 3 of your strengths and 3 of your weaknesses. Okay, now let me ask some of you over here. Now, okay, maybe you can volunteer and say, like, if you want to say 3 of your strengths and 3 of your weaknesses, what do you say? You can put it in the chat box also. If you want to say it on the mic, you can say it. If you want to put it on the chat box, you can put it on the chat box. Usually they ask these questions, right? Tell me something about your strengths. Tell me something about your weakness. Why do they want to ask about the strength and weakness? You know, all these questions have been from time immemorial. You know, usually, do you know who started off this interview stuffs? You know who initiated or who started this interview process? Anybody? Anybody has an idea?
No, so I don't have any idea about this.
Okay, actually, it was T.A. Edison. They say it was Thomas Alva Edison was the one who started off this kind of this interview. I don't know how many of you watched this movie called The Prestige. Anybody has watched this movie, The Prestige movie? It's between the battle between 2 magicians, and you have anybody has watched it? The Prestige. It's a good movie. I think it's a movie by Christopher Nolan. Anybody has watched that movie? The Prestige.
Can you please come again?
The Prestige. There's a movie called The Prestige by
Yes,
Christopher
yes,
Nolan.
sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
it's a battle between 2 magicians where
Yes, sir.
actually it was a real-time story. Actually, it was a real-time story which happened during Thomas Alva Edison, and there was a great clash between Nikola Tesla and Thomas Alva Edison. And I don't know whether you watched even that documentary where T.A. Edison is responsible for the invention of what? What did he invent, or what did he create?
Tube light. Oh, sorry, bulb.
Okay. Okay, bulb. Okay, then what else? Any idea? What else? T.A. Edison, that is Thomas Alva Edison, has around more than 2,000 patents. He has invented more than 2,000 patents. So his famous
maybe
invention,
MRI machines.
Yeah, go ahead.
The MRI machines, maybe.
Okay. See, T.A. Edison was the one who founded out direct current. Okay, direct current. Using the carbon filament, he was the first one who invented this direct current. And direct current can only go for shorter waves. It can only travel for shorter wavelengths. Whereas alternating current, AC current, can travel for longer waves. And that is where Nikola Tesla pitched in, and he said, like, come on now, I can invent something better than you. And T. Edison was at that time was not interested in that. Okay, he was not interested, or he was not interested in motivating Nikola Tesla, because Nikola Tesla was the one who worked under Edison during that time. And since he postulated his own theory of this alternating current, Edison did not approve it. So he came out of Edison's company and he started his own company called Nikola Tesla & Co. And he proved the world that alternating current is the future. So the ones that we use on the plug boards right now are AC currents, and they are not DC currents, and AC currents are controlled by transformers. Okay, so during those days, T. Edison was the one who conducted or who started interviews, and it was said like Nikola Tesla had a very tough interview where his first assignment was something at the basement of a ship. Okay, he has to fix something at the basement of the ship, and only after he fixed it, he was taken inside the company. So they believe that T. Edison was the one who started off these interviews, and from that time, it has evolved so much. Okay, so they have asked so many other questions on also on interviews, but still they keep on asking you this question called as strength and weaknesses. Okay, can you give some of your strengths and weakness? Maybe you can put it on the chat box. 3 of your strengths and 3 of your weaknesses. Three of your strengths and 3 of your weaknesses. Yeah. Okay. Any of your strengths and any of your weaknesses? You put it in the chat box. Okay, hard worker, focuses on one thing at a time, calm and composed during high pressure times. Okay. Can work in flexible shifts if required, can handle pressure, good analytical skills. Okay. Anything else? Anybody else? Weakness, not able to express myself at times. Okay. Anybody else? Okay, weakness, sometime work on last threshold of time limit. Okay. See, when you want to say something about your strengths and weakness, you have to look back in your life and see where you have been successful and where you have miserably failed. Okay. Girish, sometimes takes time to complete a task. Okay. Strengths are empathy, team player. Okay. Empathy, team player, good. Empathy, they talk about this emotional intelligence. I don't know how many of you have heard about this. They say emotional intelligence is greater than IQ. Okay, that they say they have this phrase which goes like this, IQ is lesser than EQ, that is emotional quotient. Okay, and EQ is lesser than SQ. SQ, they call it a spiritual quotient. Okay, this is where emotional intelligence or empathy is you are trying to put yourself in the other person's situation and you're trying to think. That's called emotional intelligence or empathy. Very good. That is your strength. Okay, good. Anything else from anybody? Any answers? Anybody, any answers? Okay, I'll move forward. See, when it comes to strength and weakness, look back in your life and see where you have been successful and where you have miserably failed. When it comes to three strengths, some of the strengths that you can say, okay, some of the strengths that you can say is like, you can say attention to details, or you can say logical thinker, and you can say goal oriented. These are some which such like, okay, goal oriented. You can say highly motivated, okay, highly motivated, and so on. Now, suppose when you say that you are a person who is, for example, Girish said something hard worker. Now I'll ask Girish, what is the difference between hard working and smart working? Can you give me an example, an apt example? This is hard work, this is smart work. Can you give me an example?
Sorry, sir, your voice was breaking. Can you please repeat again?
What is the difference between hard work and smart work?
So hard work is something in which you put your physical effort more, and smart work is more like you put your more of a mental effort to decrease the physical effort.
Example?
Suppose if there's a big dice, so if you like if someone asks to roll asks to move this object, so it's in a dice shape, so moving it physically will be much of a hard work, and making it in a round shape would be a smart work so that it can be moved easily.
Okay, fine. What is the difference between knowledge and wisdom? Just give me an example.
Difference between
knowledge and wisdom.
Knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge is something like we have in like we have learned from
Just
it.
give me example. Just give me example. This is knowledge. This is wisdom.
I can't come with an example.
Okay. See, this is where some of them will get trapped by their own words. For example, when they say I'm a hard worker, the next question is, what is the difference between hard working and smart working? Smart work and hard work. Now, when you explain, your clarity of thought is something very important. That is your organized thoughts. That is very, very important. Okay. See, that is what we call it as mind mapping. Or what is there in your head or what is there in your thinking should be transferred exactly to the other person's mind. That is called as effective communication, right? In storytelling, they say this. In storytelling, they say this like you have head-to-head. You have head-to-head communication, or you have head-to-heart communication. You have heart-to-head communication, and you have heart-to-heart communication. Okay, these are 4 types of communication they teach you in storytelling. Now, head-to-head is what is there inside your head. It is transferred to the other person's head. Head-to-heart is what is there in your head is transferred to the other person's heart. Okay, and heart to head is what is inside your heart. It is transferred into the other person's head. It reaches only the other person's head. But what is heart to heart is whatever that you think, right, wholeheartedly, it reaches the other person's heart. That is, you have an emotional content as well as the rapport building. That's why in storytelling they say, once upon a time there lived a king called Birbal. They use their annotations. So that is very, very important. Okay. So when you say something, the clarity is very, very important, right? The clarity is very, very important. Now, suppose you put as a hard worker, I'm just asking you, what is the difference between hard working and smart working? Can you give me an example? You can give this Abraham Lincoln's quote. When you give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, I spend 4 hours sharpening the axe. You cut a tree with a blunt axe, it takes a lot of time and effort. Hardworking, usually, yes, it works out, the tree is going to fall down, but it takes a lot of time and energy. But if you sit down and sharpen the axe and you cut a tree, you can achieve it in shorter amount of time. That's called smart work, right? So be careful in answering those questions. There are some simple questions. What is the difference between knowledge and wisdom? Now, how many languages are there in a 10 rupee note? Can anybody say that? How many languages are there in a 10 rupee note? How many languages are there in a 10 rupee note? Anybody?
Sir, I suppose 20 to 21.
Okay. Okay, I'll leave it to you. Okay, you can go take a 10 rupee note, 100 rupee note. You can check how many languages are there. Okay, you can check it. Now that is called as knowledge. Okay, but how do you use that 10 rupee note is called as wisdom. When you say something and the reach is, you can reach anybody in a very nominal, in a very simple term, that is called as effective communication. I don't know how many of you have heard about this personality called as Shiv Khera. Anybody's heard about this personality? Shiv Khera.
Yes, sir.
Right?
He's a motivational speaker and a sales trainer.
Exactly.
So I read his book, How to Sell.
Very good. There are a lot of books out there. Okay. For example, there's a best book is like You Can Win. That is his best book, best-selling book, You Can Win. And if you would have seen his speeches, all the speeches would have been very, 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 very in simple English. It's not very complicated William Shakespeare's English like Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me a ears. I come to bury season, not to praise him. The evil that men do lives after them. The good is oft interred with your bones. So let it be. It's not like that. It's not the big words that you use, but it's simple words that you use to reach people. That is what needs even inside an interview, right? Maybe you can watch some of his videos, Shiv Khera's videos. His way of talking, the way of reaching people is very, 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 very effective, right? So when you say answers like hardworking, smart working, these are the questions which are related to it. Okay, fine. And Bharat has said can work in flexible shifts or require time, can handle pressure, good analytical skills. Okay, Bharat has also said he has good analytical skills. Okay, now I'm going to ask you a question to Bharat. Okay, it's a old question. Let me see whether you know this. Okay, now you have a well. Okay, you have a well, and the well is around 30 feet. Okay, the well is around 30 feet, and there is a frog in that well. So each time the frog makes an attempt to come out of the well, what it does is it jumps 3 feet up. Okay, per jump, it makes 3 feet up, comes down 2 feet. Okay, it jumps 3 feet and it comes down 2 feet per jump. Now, in 1 hour, it makes only one jump. In 1 hour, it makes only one jump. Now, how many hours does the frog require to come out of this well? Can anybody say it?
Sir, I don't understand. Can you repeat this again, sir?
Okay, there is a 30 feet well. Okay, there's a 30 feet well, or there's a 30 feet tunnel, something. So there is a frog out here. There's a frog. You can see a frog. Okay, and in 1 hour, it makes only one jump. For each hour, it makes one jump. And the jump is made such a way that it goes up 3 feet, okay, and comes down 2 feet. How many hours does the frog take to come out of this well?
30 hours.
30. Okay, Deepak says 30. Abhishek says 28.
So 30 hours, sir.
Okay, Bharat says again 30. Maheshwari also says it's 30. Any other answers? Any other answers? $29. Okay, there's a new answer here. Girish says it's 29. Okay. Any other answers? Okay, there's another answer. Yeah says it's 27. Okay. Any other answers from anybody? 30, 28, 30, 30. 3 of them have said 30. One said 28, one said 29, one said 27. Okay, the ones who have said 30, why 30? Can anybody explain why 30?
Sir, because the well is 3 feet deep, and he jump in 1 hour, and he jump in every 1 hour. So so that's why it will take 30 hours.
Okay, so what Bharat is trying to say is, for 1 hour, it makes only 1 feet progress, because 3 feet it goes up and 2 feet it comes down. So 1 hour, 1 feet. So 30 hours, 30 feet. So that is what Bharat is trying to say. Okay, the one who said 28. Why 28? Or will come in the decreasing order. Why 29? The one who said 29. Why 29? Any reasons for it? 28, 29, 27? Okay, Yashika says like I'm facing some network issues, so sorry for this. Okay, fine. "28, 29, 27. Why did you choose those? You have an explanation? Because it's taking 1 feet gain every hour of 3 feet. Okay. So I think Girish was the one who said 28. No, 29. Okay. 29. Okay, so what he says is it's taking a 1 hour gain. So on the 29th, it makes one jump and it comes out. So it takes 29 hours. Okay. Good thinking. Why 28 and 27? Why 28 and 27? Why 28 and 27? Okay, last jump, when will he reach the top? He won't fall. Okay, fine. Good. I think many of you are facing some network. Yash is facing a lot of network issues. I mean, Yashika. Okay. Okay, last jump, when he will reach the top. Okay, he won't fall down. See, the point is now for each feet, I mean, for each hour, it covers 1 feet, right? For 1 hour, it is 1 feet. For 2 hours, it is 2 feet. For 3 hours, it is 3 feet. For 4 hours, it is 4 feet. So similarly, for 27th hour, it makes 3 feet jump up high. So for 27, almost it has reached the top. Okay, almost it has reached the top. If you have to be even more precise, or even it jumps 3 feet, it comes out off the well. So there is no need for the frog to go down back again, right? So the answer is either 27 or 28. Got it? Now, why I'm trying to say all this is, when you say you are good at analytical thinking, the next question can be also this: to check your strengths, right? To check your strengths. So whenever you say your strengths, always be careful about what the question is going to be asked again, right? Be very careful, because when you say that you are a logical thinker, when you say that you are an analytical thinker, there might be some puzzles. There might be some puzzles. Let me give you another puzzle. It's an open puzzle. Okay. Now you have a circular cake. Okay. You have a circular cake. You have to make 3 cuts and you have to get 8 pieces. Can you tell me how?
I will fold this. I will fold this circle, and I will cut 3 sides, which will make automatically more than 3, approximately uh, 6 to 10 something.
Okay, but you have a cake. Imagine that it's you're going to have a birthday cake. Okay, and the cake is right before you. No, you cannot fold the cake. You have to cut the cake. How do you do it?
So we must have a kind of a special chop to cut this kind of in slides.
No, it's not a special way. You can do it.
Sir, can you please repeat the question?
See, there is a circular cake. You can see a circular
Okay.
cake, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's not circular. Oh, okay. You have to make 3 cuts and you have to get 8 pieces. Can you tell me how?
One, I will make a cut from top to bottom and from left to right,
Okay.
and then I will make it slice it through the between. So there will be 8 pieces.
Like this?
No. From the middle section of the cake.
Very good. Horizontal.
Yeah, horizontal.
Okay.
Yes.
Very good. Horizontal. Okay. So when you make horizontal cut, you get 8 pieces. Very good.
Yes.
Okay. Is there any other way? This is one thing that we all know. Is there any other way? Okay, Abhishek says like first 4 cuts first and one more between any 4. Okay. Even though you get only 6.
Zigzag position.
Okay. And this is what a cut means. Not something like this.
Can't think of any other way.
Easy one. Easy one. I'll make the first 2 cuts. I'll give you a clue then. There are 4 separate pieces right now. Now on the 3rd cut, you get 8 pieces. A longer cut? What do you mean by a longer cut? Just think, simple. It's so simple. This is where your
So
creative thinking is.
we will cut it vertically.
Okay, even if you cut vertically, this is the vertical cut that I have done.
Okay, yeah.
You get only 6 pieces.
One more from the first portion and the fourth portion. One more cut.
That'll make 4 cuts, right?
No, it will make 3 cuts, right? One is from
like
top
this?
to bottom. Yeah, like this.
Okay, you have 1, 2, 3, 4,
Okay, yeah.
and you have 1 here.
Only 6 pieces only.
Okay, Abhishek is trying to say something. Okay, cut it in the center. You want to make a cut like this. No. The first 2 cuts are already made, and on the 3rd cut, you get 8 pieces. And the clue is you have 4 separate pieces. You have 4 separate pieces. You can put it in the chat box also, Abhishek. I can get it. Okay, I'll tell it. See, it's easy. You have to stack. You have 4 separate pieces, right? You have 4 separate pieces, right? Stack one over the other. Okay, stack one over the other and make one cut. You can get 8 pieces. Got it?
Got it, sir.
See, this is what it is. Okay. See, it's all simple. When we think of cutting a cake, we always think of cutting the cake vertically. So that is where creative thinking or logical thinking, what happens is he says something, you have to cut the cake horizontally. Okay, well and good. But is there any other way? Yes, you can stack over the other and you can cut. So when you say that you are a logical thinker, when you can think something out of the box, you are a creative thinker, something you can think out of the box, then make sure that you really do it. Otherwise, if there is a situation given to you and and you don't answer it or you fail to answer it, then even though you say it is your strength, it means that you are simply saying it. Okay, so there comes your strength. So attention to detail, logical thinking, goal oriented, and highly motivated. Okay, there are some weaknesses that you should not say. Okay, there are some weaknesses that you should not say when it comes to weakness. Please do not say that you are lazy. Please do not say I get bored easily. Okay, and most of them, they say this, they say like I become very emotional. Okay, or they say something related to I'm very sensitive. Okay, suppose if you get a manager who's very harsh, what will you do? When you say my weakness is I'll get very emotional, I get very sensitive, I'm very sensitive. Don't say all these words. Okay, especially lazy, I get bored easily, I'm very emotional, I'm very sensitive. And some of them say like they say I don't have any weakness. Right, I don't have any weakness. Some of them say this. 90% of them say short-tempered. Okay, see, when you say all these things, lazy, get bored easily, emotional, sensitive, I don't have any weakness, I'm a perfectionist, what happens is the decision not to hire you will become stronger and stronger. Right, the decision not to hire you will become stronger and stronger. So please don't say anything. Now, what can we say for weakness? See, for weakness, when you say any weakness, first you have to note, you have to say, what have you done so far to overcome it? Or what was your effort, the effort that you put? Okay. Sir, is there any weakness which represents our strength? Well, there are some people who say like, sir, my weakness is multitasking. They say like, I don't focus on a particular thing, but what I do is I keep on, multitasking. I do 2 different things at the same time. So, that is one of my weakness. They say their weakness as their strength. Okay, is a multitasker much needed? Yes, much needed. Some of them say the vice versa. They say like, sir, I am, I don't multitask, or I multitask very well. Some say I multitask very well. Some say I don't multitask very well, because when you give me a job, I'm very, very particular about finishing that job, and I will concentrate. My whole focus will be on the job, and I cannot concentrate or do some other thing. So I will concentrate, I will finish the job, and then only I'm looking for other jobs. Understand? So these are the ways that they do. Some of them, what they do is they say their weakness and they say how do they overcome it. Some of them say like, I'm very poor at planning. I'm very poor at keeping up what I have planned. I'm very poor at scheduling. I'm a man of forgetfulness. I forget things very easily. Now, what do? You have an app, or you have a planner, or which says like it schedules you, and you keep a track of it. You say like, okay, 10 to 11 I do this, 11 to 12 I do this, 12 to 1 I do this. So I used an app, or I used a planner, so that I can, I'm working on my weakness. So it reminds me to do what I'm supposed to do at the particular time. So these are the things that I worked on. So when you say your weakness, always say what you are working on, or what you have worked on, or how you are overcoming your negativeness or your weakness. That is very, very important. Okay, some of them say short tempered, and they say like, I've been into meditations, I've been into yogas, and I've also started books or reading books on anger management. There's also a movie called as Anger Management. So they say something which they are really focusing on to come out of that weakness. So that is what they expect. Okay, so when it comes to strength and weakness, always show or say some of your strengths, and in your weakness, say something of your weakness which is something very professional. Don't get into the personal side. Okay, I trust people easily, I believe people easily. All these comes under the personal side. And when you're saying yes to the HR, what are you trying to say, or what is the picture you're trying to convey? You get what I'm trying to say? So make sure that you give something which is very professional. That is very, very important. Okay. Then comes another important question. Okay. Why should I hire you? Now let me ask this question to you. Now, can you give me? There are around 7 participants out here, right? There are around 7 participants. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out there. Okay. Now I'm going to ask you a question. Give me one good reason. Give me one good reason why I should take you inside this company. What is making you so unique from the others? Now, what will be your answers?
I would like to say that I do have similar experience relevant to this designation, this job, this kind of job responsibility.
Okay. Maybe each one can take turns and say.
I would say like I love to have more new challenges.
Okay. Okay. Anybody? Who wants to say?
I will say that maybe I'm not from the same background, but I still have learned, worked in a customer facing role, and I know how the proper assisting in clients works, and how the escalations and queue management works, and will circle out all my good areas where I have learned a lot with my work experience, and how can I relate it to the current designation I'm applying for.
Okay. Okay. Others? Others? Anybody wants to try? Sir, I will say that there may be different people with same qualification as mine, but along with my learning capabilities, I'm sure that I'm going to do better than anyone else and stick to my goals. Something like that. Okay. Okay, anybody else?
So one more thing I would like to add in this scenario, I would like to say that I had handling some kind of frustrated customers call and I have relevant experience to analyzing the PDF format and the payments, and this kind of experience I do have. So this is make me a complete package to relevant this designation. That's it.
Okay. Anybody else wants to say? Okay. Now, see, when they ask you this question, why should I hire you? Or what good thing, or what is that one thing that you have special from the others, which is making you unique to fetch this job? Okay, when they ask you this question, again, you can say some of your strengths and highlight, like how you said, some of you said, like, I have the same relevant experience, that is one of your strength. You say I have good convincing skills, that is one of your strength, and all those things. But some what they do is they refer the JD, they refer the job description. From in the job description, they would have given something like, I need a candidate who's well versed in their communication skills, or they should be having good investment banking skills, right? And something related to, you should have some good interpersonal skills. There are some skills. Okay, so they highlight these skills. So some of the candidates, what they say is, sir, as they mentioned in the JD, I want to, the JD, it's mentioned like there are candidates which are needed, who are having this communication skills, investment banking skills, in investment banking skills, and all those things. And so I possess all these skills, and that's the reason why I want to get inside your company. Right? They say this. So is it a good way to say that? You're asking this, I have this, so take me in. So that's what you're trying to say. It's not a good way of saying it. Okay. Now, how can you say it? This is where you can use something called as the STAR technique. Okay. This is where you can use something called as the STAR technique. Now, what does the STAR technique mean? S stands for situation. Okay. T stands for task. A stands for action. R stands for result. Okay. So S stands for situation, T stands for task, A stands for action, R stands for result. For example, you take your strengths, or you can take even your strengths, or you can take even the one that was given in your JD. Okay, the points that you're given in JD, and form this in your STAR technique. For example, leadership skills. Okay, for example, leadership skills. Now, suppose if you say that you are good at leadership, suppose if they're asking for leadership, I want a candidate who's good at leadership skills. Now, how do you use this situation, task, action, and result? For example, let me see. See, when I was working in Nestle, there was a Maggi crisis, and the order given to us was, you have to take the Maggi packet out of the shelf. There should not be any Maggi packet seen in any outlet. Okay, so you have to take it out of the shelf. So there are around tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4. So tier 1 are petty shops where you have small shops. Tier 2 a little mediocre shops. Tier 3 are supermarkets. Tier 4 are hypermarkets. Now what happened was, you have a big crisis. Everybody would have heard about the Maggi crisis, right? So in those days, like, we used to have cranes. Okay, we used to have cranes, and they were burning the Maggi packets. Okay, they have to collect the Maggi packets and they have to literally burn it. That was the order given to us during the time. So my manager asked me, like, I was into sales that time, so he asked me, like, you have to take all the Maggi packets out of the shelf. So there were around 100 merchandisers working under me. So what I did was, I delegated, I split it into 4 groups, comprises of 25 merchandisers in one group. Okay, so they were around 100. They were around 100 merchandisers. What I did was, I split into 4 groups. Each group had 25, 25, 25, 25. Okay. Now, anybody has done MBA here? Anybody has done MBA here? Anybody has done MBA?
No, sir, I haven't applied for MBA.
Okay, fine. No. Okay, fine. In MBA, you learn something called as delegation. This is called as delegation, right? You delegate the work and you give. Now here, I picked out only one leader for this group, and they are kind of POC, point of contact. Okay, so if anything goes wrong, I will ask only this particular person. Okay, so I sent it to north, south, east, and west of Chennai. Okay, so it's very hard because you have tier 1 outlets, you have tier 2 outlets, you have tier 3 outlets, and you have tier 4 outlets. Tier 4 are hypermarkets where you find inside the mall. You have to have a lot of special permissions to take the goods in and out of it. Okay, so what I did was, since I had a very good rapport with the shopkeepers out there, this is where rapport building plays a very important role. So, what I did was, I delegated and I sent them to north, south, east, west, and I tell them, like, you just collect all the Maggi packets. If there's any escalations, you can call me and I will handle the situation. So I spoke to the shopkeeper. I just took all the numbers out there and I spoke. So you know what? They asked me to take the Maggi packets out within a week, 7 days, but I did it within 6 days. Right? Now, to cut short the story, now why I'm saying all this is, when somebody's asking you, why should I hire you? Don't simply say, I have leadership skills. Everybody, every Tom and Dick and Harry can say it. Okay, but put it under this STAR technique. Now, there were some who said, when I asked you about your strengths, some of you said you are very hardworking, and some of you say, like, I can handle the pressure. Some of you say, like, I'm good at analytical skills. Some of you say, like, I'm very calm, I'm very composed. Some of you said I'm empathy, I'm team player. Now, can you say how good you are as a team player? Can you use the STAR technique? Can you say how good, or can you say your strengths using the STAR technique? When you say you are good at communication skills, can you use that in STAR technique? Can you give a situation? Can you give a task? Can you say what action did you perform and what was the result? This can make your answer very effective. Understand? This can make your answer very, very effective. So next time when somebody is asking you, why should I hire you? Go through the GED and take some points, and from your strength, take some points and form this star technique, right? Form this star technique. Understand? You're getting what I'm trying to say, guys? Okay, good. Thank you for the response. So this is how you have to answer inside an interview. Don't simply say like, I have all these skills and I possess all these skills, so hire me. It's not like that. It doesn't work that way. Okay, fine. Now the next question is, why do you want to join investment banking? Why IB? They would ask you this question for sure. Okay, why you want to join this investment bank? Why not digital marketing? Why not data analytics? Why not any other course? But why you want to specifically join this investment banking? Now, any answers anybody wants to say?
Sir, in this scenario, I would like to add this line. Investment bank is a kind of sea of knowledge I will get, and I learned a lot in this industry. And apart from that, I can take personally decision what kind of investment I should do, and what kind of disinvestment I should do in the future. So it is make me quite helpful. So that's why and second thing, it highly paid industry. So that's why I want to apply for this, sir.
Okay, even digital marketing and data analytics, they are very highly paid.
But in both of scenario, I wouldn't. In both of scenario, there's no lot of learning things. So I will learn a lot in this scenario. And apart from that, there's one more thing I said, that I will take lot of decision relevant to investment, my personal investment, what kind of investment I should do in future, and I will be updated all kind of financial related information. So it gonna help. It gonna quite helpful for me. So that's why I want to apply for this.
But why do you want to take it as a career? You can have a consultant, right? And you said like, compared to other thing, there is no learning. Even data analytics has a vast learning exposure that it can provide. Even digital marketing, SEO, SEM, search engine optimization, pay per click. There's so much there even in digital marketing. Okay, fine, good. From your side, you have answered it. Good.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else from others?
So I would say, like, I'm already having a retail investment background, right, where we deal with retail people investing into capital market. And the reason I want to get into investment banking is to have a exposure to the bigger financial world, the institutional side of the financial transactions.
Okay, almost close. See, when you're answering something, you're using some keywords. The keyword that he used right now was capital markets, right? That's a very good keyword that he used. See, when they ask you this question, why investment banking, the first and the foremost is, say something which is related to that you have an interest in finance and capital markets. That's the keyword, capital markets. And then you can say, and you have the right education as well, right? And that's the reason why you're studying in Informatics, right? See, some of them say like, why do you want to get into this investment banking? Because I studied finance. I'm a BCom finance graduate, so I want to get into investment banking. That's not the right way. Just because you ride the bike, you cannot become a mechanical engineer, or at least a mechanic, right? You got the picture? So make sure that you say something that you have interest in finance and capital markets, something related to capital markets, and you have the education as well. Okay. Or the other way is share something which is related to your personal story. There was a candidate who said this. He said like, sir, my father is a very hard worker, okay, and he was working, and in 2008, when I was doing my schooling in 2008, my father lost his job, and we were all really shocked because my father was a very hard worker and he used to be very sincere and all those things, but I really don't know why he lost his job, and that gave me a curiosity to find out about what is happening inside this industry and about this financial crisis and all those things. So I started to read and watch a lot of movies on financial crisis, and that gave me a curiosity to join in this investment banking. I don't know how many of you know, in 2008 there was a financial crisis. How many of you know that?
Yes, sir.
Guys, okay. Exactly. Good. So he used his personal story. He used his personal experience in answering this question. Okay. And there are also movies, investment banking movies like Big Short. There are other movies also. A lot of investment banking movies are also there. Maybe you can say that you got some interest, or it gave you some views or some insights or some ideas about this investment banking, right? So it's always good to watch good English movies. How many of you know this director called as Quentin Tarantino? Anybody's heard about it?
Yes, I
Yes,
heard
sir.
about this.
Okay, so his movies are all different. The genre that he takes is something something different, and there are other investment banking movies also, like The Big Short. Okay, I don't know how many of
The
you
Wall
watched
Street.
this.
Wall Street.
So Wall Street. Then exactly, Wall Street, where the title is Money Never Sleeps. Okay, then there's also something called as equity, margin call, inside chart, right? There are other movies also. Okay, so when you say this, when you say or associate with that, it becomes a personal story that you can say. Okay, why you want to take up investment banking? Don't say just to fetch a large amount of money. I just joined investment banking. That's not the right way to say it. Money alone doesn't matter. It also matters, but the major thing that you have to say is you have to show, or you have to frame some sentences that expresses that you have some passion towards investment banking. Okay, don't use the word passion because everybody uses the word passion, but say in other words or show that passion in other sentences. Okay, that is very important. Another one is suppose we have something called as change of domain. Okay, for example, you change your domain from retail banking to investment banking. Okay, fine, at least you have something, a grip, that is okay. You're inside the banking, you change. Suppose there are some people who say like, you have worked as an HR for 2 years. You worked as an HR for 2 years. Okay, and now you're shifting your field to investment banking. Now what will you say? Now what will you say? The HR is asking like, come on man, you have 2 years of experience as an HR. Now what is making you to jump into investment banking, right? You already have 2 years of experience. Then why don't you try with that field itself? Why you want to shift your field? Why you want to change your domain?
So I would say to explore more opportunities other than HR.
Okay, so you're diminishing one field which says like you don't have any opportunities over there. Any other questions or any other answers that you want to say? See here, the HR really knows, okay, why you want a job, shift your job, and all those things. See, it's like he or she is not a fresh into this industry. Okay, they would have seen a lot of candidates. Okay, and they all know what you're going to answer. So make sure that you don't give the nominal one. Make sure that you don't give something which cannot be accepted. Make sure that you say something which can convince them. See, that's the bottom line. In an interview, it's not about giving the right or the wrong answers, but it's all about how well you convince the HR. That matters the most. Now, what they say is, so when I finished my college, there were some placement opportunities, and many of them never got that opportunity, and I got that opportunity to get into that company. So I don't want to lose that golden opportunity. So that was a time where I entered, that is from my campus, I'm going into a corporate field. So I went into the corporate industry where I learned such a lot of new stuff that I learned on how to handle people. I learned on time management skill. I learned on interpersonal skills. I learned on how to delegate, how to deal with your bosses, how to deal with your employees, how to deal with the ones who are below you. So there was a lot of learning that went into those 2 years, and I never feel like it was waste of time. And I can also use all that corporate industry, all that corporate learning that I've had in that industry, even in your company when I get in. And that's the reason why I spent 2 years in that company. And adding to that, at that particular time when I joined the company, my family was also facing a lot of financial crisis, wherein which I was not able to choose my right field according to my right capabilities or my right, passion. So I was in a position where I need to get into that company at that particular time and earn a lot of amount of money. And also along with the money, I learned a lot of other corporate learning over there, which I can use it even inside your company, sir. So that's the reason why I'm getting into this investment banking field right now, coming from the HR field. You got what I'm trying to say? Are you getting it, guys? And also some of them say, like, due to my personal issues, I have to take up the job. They pinpointed to some financial crisis. And after 1 year, I realized that it was not my cup of tea. And hence, that's the reason why I went into Ematicus to upgrade myself in investment banking. And that's the reason why I paid my money out of my pockets there to upgrade something in investment banking, which shows that I'm really interested in investment banking. And I also, that's the reason why I'm sitting right before you. Got it? So this is how you have to say it. So once you say, like, you're not going to lose the placement opportunity, or you can use your personal issues, or you can use your financial crisis. So somewhere or the other, you show that you have put some effort in this investment banking. It's not like, okay, you just give me a job. Okay, I just come for an interview, give me a job. It's not like that. You've been into a course where you have also spent your money, time, energy, right? And these are all the small things that will make big differences when you say it. And the way you say it matters the most. Okay. Now, next question. Frequently they ask this question. Why do you want to join this company? Why do you want to join this company? Okay, can you say some of your dream companies? Can you say some of your dream companies?
So JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs.
Okay, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan. Any other?
UBS.
Sorry, Deepak, I couldn't hear it.
Say UBS, United Bank of Switzerland.
Okay, UBS. There are many. Okay, so get to know about some investment banking.
So Morgan Stanley.
Morgan Stanley. Okay, some of you have put Citibank, Morgan Stanley. Some of you put BNP Paribas. Okay, some of you put Society General. Okay, good. So there are many. Okay, there are many investment banks. Now you go for Goldman Sachs. Okay, you go for Goldman Sachs. Now they're asking you, why do you want to join this company, Goldman Sachs? Or you go to Society General, or you go to Citibank. Why do you want to join this? No, what will you answer?
Sir, here the company definitely want to know, like, what do we know about them? I mean, about their work culture, how much research we have done about that particular job opportunity, as well as the company and its background.
Exactly. Very good. See, when they ask this question, what they want you to know is express that you have some knowledge about that company. Right? Research the company. Research the company. What do you have to research? Research who's the CEO. Can you say who's the CEO of Goldman Sachs? It's like asking who's the finance minister of India.
Yes, sir. Nirmala Sitharaman.
Okay. Who is the RBI governor? Who is the RBI governor?
So some Das, can't remember his name.
Very good.
Shashikant.
Good. See, so it's like these are all mandatory things, right? Because you're studying finance, you have to know all these things. So when you research the company, right? Research the company, know who's the CEO, know what is the stock price, know what is the stock price of the company, know where are the headquarters situated, know what are the CSR activities which is taking place. Okay, know about the latest news. Know about the latest news about investment banking and also about the company. Okay, know about their recent projects. Right? And finally, what Deepak said is know about their work culture. Right? You have to research the company before you visit the company for an interview. Right? Research the company. You go there. You can second. Okay. Now, this is Goldman Sachs official website. Has anybody visited this before? Or this is the first time you're going to see this?
So I have visited it before.
Okay,
This is
only
first time.
one. Okay. Now, look here. First, if you want to know about them, about us, how did it start? Okay. What is their values? What is their core values? Right? So your talks at GS. These are all information about it. These are all informations. You watch these videos, you will get a lot of ideas. See, there's so much of talk shows. See, I'll tell you, my first company was Wipro, and when I went for this Wipro interview, they asked me this question: Why Wipro? Okay, why want to take up this? I said, like, see, Wipro was the first product of Wipro was Vanaspati oil, and that is why they kept their logo as a sunflower or sunflower. Before they have their logo as a sunflower, and that's the reason why they kept their logo as sunflower. And they started off with Vanaspati oil, and then they pitched into Wipro electricals. Then they have even soaps. They have so much of other products, and so they also pitched into IT. So when I say about Wipro, it's not only about IT, but they have their ventures in different other fields. And that is one thing that I like about Wipro. And another thing is about the director Azim Premji, who has a lot of interest in helping the poor. That is, he's a philanthropist. He has a lot of CSR activities. He has done a lot of CSR activities. So, these are one or two things that I like about Wipro, and that's the reason why I want to join Wipro. Now, when you say this, that you are expressing some knowledge about it, that is very important. Right? So, browse through all these things. Okay, you have Goldman Sachs, you have, if you want to get into JP Morgan, let's see, JP Morgan CEO, who's that?
Jamie Dimon.
Right? And if you want to see Goldman Sachs, right? Know some information, know some facts. That is what I'm trying to say. When you know it can make you answering very easily. It can make you answer very easily. Instead of saying this, that, okay, you can know that. So when they ask you, why do you want to join this company? Express some knowledge about it. Research the company and express some knowledge about it. Okay. Then there's another question called as challenges in life. What are the challenges that you faced in life? What will you say? What are the challenges that you faced in life? What will you say? Okay, fine. The time is running out. I'll tell it to you. See, when they ask you these challenges in life, don't take it too personal. Okay, don't say that I had this breakups and all those things, because there are some particular candidates who say this. Okay, they really get emotional, and they get very, very emotional, and they pour out what they think at that particular time, because only they think only about the bad times that they have in life when they think about these challenges in life. Okay, don't take it too personal, but keep it professional. Okay, suppose if you are a fresher, say that you say something that you have faced during your project or in your college. Okay, something related to your project, the challenges that you faced while doing your project. Now, suppose if you are an experienced candidate, okay, say something, the projects that you have faced, the challenges that you have faced while handling a project in your office, during your office time. Okay, keep it very professional, because immediately when they ask you something on challenges, don't jump into the personal things of your life. Okay, keep it very, very professional. Okay, another one is like a common question: where do you see yourself 5 years from now? Okay, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? For that, if you are a fresher, say that you will be an SME. What do you mean by SME?
Subject matter specialist.
Subject matter expertise.
Exactly. Subject matter expertise or expert. Okay. So what do you mean by that? That is, in 5 years time, I will have a grip over all the subject. Okay. I'm new now. I'll go there and have a grip over the subject. I'll know what is happening inside the corporate field. So I'm so new. I'm just coming from the college. So I'll go there. I'll learn everything. So I will have a grip over everything within 5 years time. Okay. So that is in my department. In other departments, I will have a whole knowledge about what the process that I'm going to do. If you are an experienced, you already have experience, maybe around 5 years or maybe around 3 to 4 years. Now, what do? Almost you're going to join with some experience. So added responsibility is going to be given to you. So you'll be handling a team, maybe where you will be as a team leader or something, right? Something related to additional responsibility, right? So a team leader, this is where leadership, all that comes under picture. Okay, so already you have gained some experience. So you're going from one company to another company with some experience. Yes, well and good. Then you have to have a kind of some leadership quality or to take up some additional responsibility. Right. Now the next question is last maybe 1 or 2 questions. Okay. The next question is very important question. How much salary negotiations? See, when it comes to salary negotiations, if you are a fresher, it's always good to go with the industry standards or as per market standards. Okay, as per market standards. What I say is get into a company, stay there for 1 or 2 years, learn what is happening inside the company, have a good knowledge about the company, and then you can make a shift. Okay, so it's always better to have good knowledge. I usually recommend people to get into some small companies where you learn more. Okay, because in small companies you can learn more. Where can you find a true HR? Do you think in an IT industry? In an IT industry, you have HR for recruiting, HR for finance. You have different departments even in HR. But you can find a true HR in the manufacturing industry. In the manufacturing industry, it's very difficult, right? You have to maintain manpower. That is very, very difficult in maintaining manpower. So there you can learn a lot. 3,000, 4,000 employees. Okay, you have to, you have to handle everything over there. So something where you can learn more. So as a fresher, go for as per company standards or as per market standards. If you feel like I have some relevant experience, okay, fine. Then you can ask for negotiations. And when you're negotiating, please don't ask in terms of numbers. Sorry. Please don't ask in terms of numbers, but ask in terms of percentages. That is, I want a 30%. I want a 30% hike from my previous salary. Right? Now suppose you're getting around 30,000. Okay, you're getting around 30,000. What is 30% of 30,000? Quick, you're a banker. What is 30% of 30,000?
9,000.
9,000.
9,000.
Okay.
1,000.
Right. So instead of asking, give me 9,000 rupees hike from my previous salary, you have to ask in terms of percentages. Right. Now I will tell you the mindset of an HR. See, the HR recruiter is not the CEO of the company. Always remember this. Okay. The HR recruiter is not the CEO of the company. So what happens is they have something called as a budget. Okay. They have something called as a budget. For example, if the budget is around 3 to 4 lakhs, if the budget is around 3 to 4 lakhs, now you are asking something related to 6 lakhs, 7 lakhs. Now, even though you are talented, it's not going to work out. Okay, it's not going to work out. But if you ask something near maybe 4.5, sometimes the HR, what they do is, if they feel you are very, 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 very potential candidate, then they might consider. They might consider, and they take you inside it with this pay. And suppose if there is another recruitment happening, what they do is they reduce 0.5 for that particular candidate. Okay, this happens in some companies, not in all companies. Now this is something called as budget. Okay, 3 to 4. So they stick to it. Maybe 3, 3.25, 3.5, 3.75, 4. Okay, some they are very strict. They don't want to go beyond 4. Okay, so when you ask something which is not, they are not ready to give you, then there's no use of asking. This is what they called as supply is more than demand. Okay, they will stick to their pattern only. Always remember, they will stick to their pattern only. Now, instead of taking you, they can take other two for 2 lakhs per annum, who can, these candidates can also agree, like, okay, fine, I can work for 2 lakhs, 2 lakhs. Okay, take these 2 lakhs, 2 freshers, and get the work done. Understand? So you have to understand how does it work, the recruitment process, how does it work. So make sure you ask something which comes under their budget. Don't ask.
So I have one question here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sometimes they ask us that how much do we expect. So what figure or what amount of average figure should we ask? Should we, tell them?
See, that's why you see when you're going from Informaticus, all you know at least the package that they are setting out for. Okay, you'll be already knowing the package, and since you already know the package, like, okay, fine, they're going to ask only this or that, and then well and good, you can go it. And you all must know the growth of an investment banker. Okay, for example, maybe in other departments, I don't know about this investment banking. They join as a trainee. Okay, from trainee, for example, in sales, they join as a trainee, and then they move to trainee, and then they move to sales officer. Okay, from sales officer, they move to sales executive. Okay, from executive, they move to ASM, area sales manager. Then they move to, RSM, regional sales manager, and then they climb up the ladder. Okay, blah 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 stuff. Okay. Now, suppose if you have studied in IIM, IIT, you can directly jump into ASM. That is the main purpose of many doing in B schools. Okay, they jump directly as ASM, and they don't need to take up all these things. And there is a graph. For example, to become trainees around 6 months, sales officer will be around 2 2 to 3 years, and executive will be around 6 to 7 years. Okay, this is the graph in sales. Similarly, you have to know the graph in investment banking also. So when they say the designation, right, when they say the designation, almost you will come to an idea, okay, fine, this is where the package will be for such a kind of a designation. Got it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Right. So make sure that you ask something which comes under their reward. Okay. The last question
So,
is,
like, sir, like this. So, can we directly ask, like, how much is the budget of the company? Like, how much they
don't
give the package?
you cannot ask what is the budget and all. Maybe visit Glassdoors. Okay, visit Glassdoors and know about. There will be a lot of feedbacks that they put inside the Glassdoors. You know, have you visited Glassdoors?
Yes, sir. Yes, I have visited. Yes.
Right. So there will be a lot of information coming from the Glassdoors. So you can say like maybe there are some who are put in the Glassdoors that they having these kinds of CTCs and all. So maybe you can pitch your conversation from there. Right? You get it? So you'll get an idea also.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. See, if you have relevant experience, you can. Okay, but if you are a fresher, if you are changing a domain, you are considered to be a fresher. Right? So there is no way for you to negotiate also. Okay, the last but not the least, the question is, do you have any questions to ask me? Here, you can ask something like, can you share more about the day-to-day responsibilities of this position? Or this is where you can ask something about what is the company organization like, or what is their work culture like? You can ask these kinds of questions here. Okay, don't ask something which is unnecessary. Okay, they call it as they use this word. Okay, that is something called as what does it mean? It means that you are saying something which is, you are asking something which is extra, or you're saying something which is not needed at that particular moment. Okay, so see, there was one candidate who asked like, sir, when did you join this company? How long you're working in this company? Okay, this candidate become the interviewer, and the interviewer become the interviewee. Okay, don't do all such things. So this is what you call it as superfluous, something which is extra and not needed. If you have any genuine questions, you can ask.
So, but I have seen like one example, like there was one guy, one of my friends is an HR. So he told me that one of the guy asked this question, but my friend said that I lack this confidence that he asked this question from me. So like, how is this like, I'm not clear in this thing. So like, is it a good thing being superfluous, or like, is it wrong?
It's wrong. Don't ask something which is extra, which is not needed, which is unnecessary. Right? See, some of them ask questions just because they want to ask.
Got it, sir.
Right?
Got it.
Okay. Okay. See, if you get any references, see, I'm not a guy who go by references, but since you have, if you are referred by someone, maybe they should guide you they should guide you like whom to meet and what to say and all those things. Because we really don't know what rapport that they have with the HR. Okay, the one who referred you, and they should guide you much better than what answer that I'm going to give you, right? So it's not going to satisfy you.
Okay.
Right? Okay. Any other questions? So we have discussed about tell me about yourself, and we have discussed some questions like about your strengths and weakness. Why should I hire you? Why investment banking or change of domain? What are the challenges that you face in life? Why do you want to join this company? Where do you see yourself 5 years from now? How much salary? And do you have any questions? See, don't make it as a hard and fast rule. Okay, you have to answer exactly like this. But I've given you some insights. Okay, so take that insights, and you have walked your path of life. Now take these insights and blend it with your path of life and come with some answers. Okay, don't exactly answer what I've given you. For example, in strength, I've given something like attention to details and all those things. So it's not like, it's not mandatory that you have to say the same answer, but make sure that you give something which fits you. Right? Make sure that you give something that fits you. Any other doubts that you want to ask?
No, sir. So, if is it possible that can you share the word file in which you jotted down the notes and everything?
Okay, yeah, sure. Can I have your mail ID? I will.
Yeah, sure. I'm writing it on the chat box.
You can put it on the chat box.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I've sent it. It would have reached by now.
Yes, I received it.
Okay, fine. So if you have any other doubts, also you can mail it to that ID, and I will ping it back to you. Right?
Definitely, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sure, sir.
Okay, fine.
Sure, sir.
So thank you guys, and have a good weekend.
You too,
Thank
sir.
you, sir. Thanks, sir.
Thank
Same
you,
to you.
sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.